Hey y'all, it's your girl, the real D Beats,
Sure, yeah.
and he is my special guest today on Fluff Around and Find Out. So we're gonna have a little special topic today. And with this topic, oh by the way, don't judge my natural. I'm at home and I'm chilling today, so do not judge. We listen, but we don't.
Good.
So,
I was
yes.
about to say the same. I'm sorry, but I was about to say the same thing. You know what I'm saying? Because we home. You know what I'm saying? So I'm in some Hey Arnold socks. We got some pajamas on that's not matching the Hey Arnold socks. I got my thick hoodie on. It's supposed to be worn outside, but it's cold in this house. We try to save money on this heater. You know, so yeah.
What's some rules I told you
Oh, my
before
bad.
we did? No, I had to give him some rules before we started this podcast. But yes, we eating our little seafood scampi right now. It's a little cold,
Hey, this girl can cook, man.
but it's still good.
Oh, man, she can cook. I'll get you one you can cook, and if you got one, keep him.
Okay, y'all, hold on. I shouldn't have did that. That was so rude. Took a whole bite right before I'm finna introduce the topic. What y'all?
That's good. Talking about Olive Garden.
What y'all?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, y'all. You know, the older you get, the longer it take to chew.
You gotta do like that.
You know that?
What? You know what I'm saying? Oh.
The older you get, the longer it take to chew your food. You're really supposed to take longer to chew your food because of the type
Yeah,
break it
like,
down.
yeah. Nah, me, I gobble that bit
I
down.
remember my grandma said, that's why y'all so fat, because y'all don't chew y'all food. Y'all just
Scarf that bit.
and she used to be chewing the same food. You could be done 8 by 6 bites and she still got the first bite in her mouth.
But would you say the same about how long you supposed to be on the toilet though?
I think it's a preference.
Me, maybe TMI, I don't care, but when I do that number 2, I mean it not. I don't be
You really talk
shit,
about eating.
I'm trying to put in the comment section below if you just go in the toilet in and not. Like a pit stop. You just snap it. Go in there, you drop it, and you gone.
Let's bring back the focus, because now you talking about some other shit. Let's bring back the focus. So the topic today, and he doesn't even know the topic either. I didn't let him know. So it is a surprise. What happened?
Shit, I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mess with a drunk though.
Get water. Okay, so the topic we're doing today is going to be called complicated relationships. Now you see why I gave you the rules?
Oh, okay. I'll see.
So my purpose for this topic is to be raw and respectful at the same time. You know, today's episode is uncomfortable but necessary because everybody go through it, you know. So we're talking about complicated relationships, the kind where love exists, history is deep, but clarity feels just out of reach. This isn't about blame, it's about honesty. Two people can care deeply for each other and still not want the same things at the same time. And sometimes the hardest part isn't loving someone, it's deciding what to do with that love. So catch that. I want everybody to understand that part.
Say it again.
Oh, that's too much to say. I can't say it again.
It's on the last part.
No.
Say the last part, man.
Okay, I'm gonna say the last part. And sometimes the hardest part isn't loving someone, it's deciding what to do with that love.
Question marks. Yeah, but you know what do you mean by that?
Well, let's go on to the topic. What makes a relationship complicated? So, when people hear complicated, they assume drama. But what does it actually mean to you?
Complicated relationship. What does it mean to me? I mean, it pretty much mean like how pretty much how she said in the introduction, where it's like you don't necessarily agree upon some stuff within that. I don't know. Let me see. Pretty much like an agreement.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
It's
like,
pretty much, compromising, and everybody falls into some type of complicated part in their relationship. It's bound to happen, no matter. Nobody's perfect. It happens. Even
Yeah.
Michelle and Barack, I'm sure they've had plenty of complicated moments.
That's why you hear some of these people, or at least for me, when I hear some of these people saying they've been married for like 40-something years, I'm like, man.
Trust me, they've been through hell and high water.
Yeah, that's a
It
lot.
wasn't
That's
peaches and cream.
Yeah, that's older than me.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm pretty sure they've definitely had some battles. They've definitely had some. What type of battles is unsure, but.
So, is it confusion or is it avoidance? Do complicated relationships come from circumstances or fear of final choices?
I would say all of the above. Because I would say like in a complicated relationship, like say if you're talking about like a third party, and of course if you love that particular individual, like I'm talking like that person that you're actually in the relationship with, of course you're gonna be like, oh, I don't wanna, just be completely honest or just be completely open, because then that may hurt that person. You know what I mean? And who wants to hurt somebody, at least intentionally?
Yeah. And so what we'll talk about is wanting someone versus wanting freedom. So I'm gonna ask you, can someone genuinely love a person and still want other experiences?
Explain a little bit more.
Pretty much like, can someone genuinely love someone? Like, you got people who can I say? Well, we're gonna use Diddy for an example. So we've known Diddy to be in relationships. For one, Cassie, that was a long stretch relationship. You can see clearly they really loved each other, but he lived a whole nother lifestyle. So can someone genuinely love a person and still want other experiences? So could you still love that person even if they wanted something that you didn't want? They wanted to experience other things that you were against.
I would say yeah, because I mean, like love can come in different levels. You know what I mean? Like you can kind of you can look past that. Like say if I don't know. Like they'll just say like, oh man, there's this beautiful woman, we're in a relationship, whatever like that, and then yeah, I love this woman, but then she's not wanting to, do certain things that I'm wanting to do. Will I still love her for that? Of course. You know what I mean? That won't deter me or stop me from loving that woman just because of those little things, or even big things, I guess, that she don't want to do. It's you can look past that. Love, I would say like love. That's one of the things that can become unconditional.
That's like it's like an unconditional love.
Yeah. And
you have love with conditions. So it's like
oh, that's a what is the word I'm looking for that? Dang man, it's like when it's like a no-go.
Red flag?
Nah, not a red flag. A deal breaker.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, at what point does honesty stop being brave and start being selfish? So, at what point does honesty stop being brave and start being selfish?
To be honest, of course, I'm assuming to be honest, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So at what point does honesty stop being brave?
When you really love that person, oddly enough.
Yeah, because when you're honest, you're brave. Because it takes a lot to be honest with a person.
It does.
So when does it start being a selfish thing? Like, okay, you're honest about these things, but now I feel like you're also selfish in those ways.
It's equal. It's about time. Because they're about hand in hand and neck and neck. Because you got to think, okay, well, in my explanation behind that is, like how you were saying, like, being or like the honesty part, of course you don't want to be honest. Well, you want to be honest, but not to the point where it's going to hurt that person that you love. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, But
But then they got that saying, "I
okay.
lie to you because I love you." So I've heard people in relationship experiences. I've heard people say, "I didn't tell you the truth because I love you. I didn't want to hurt you."
Well, nah, I mean that's.
And then you got somebody like Blueface. He's openly honest with the girls he messed with, but they still get hurt. So I feel like regardless, it's always gonna be something.
But you know what? With that though, I feel like that's a little different though because we're talking like that guy. You know, he's known.
Yeah, but see, he's
fame
known,
and
but
then
it's
money.
a plain example. Like for people to understand, that's a plain example of he's open and honest with the girls, so they know what they're setting themselves up for him. But they fall in love. The ones that he do get with and make it serious, they fall in love and
But
they have to accept his honesty. Exactly.
Because then it's like, are they doing it for the family? Do they want
But
to be
then that
famous? Or
ties
is it for the
into
money?
So then that ties into, is it wrong to want security from someone who wants freedom? See? So do you want somebody to take care of you and make sure you're straight? Is that the cost that it takes for the freedom? So you allow them to have freedom as long as they take care of you. Is pretty much what it's saying.
Oh, okay.
So see that prime example, they know that they're gonna be taken care of, so they're gonna allow him to be the freedom and go do what he wanna do.
But that's a form of just using them. You know what I mean? It's like one of those give and takes because if he's
But
getting what
who's
he's
using?
want, then he's going to give them what they want, which is the security.
Yeah. Okay. But honestly, what I can say, sometimes love isn't the problem. Alignment is.
Which one?
So it's not, love is not always a problem. Aligning with the things that each other wants can be the problem. So it's not always about, oh, just because I love you. You know, like people like to say, I do this because I love you. That's not always a problem. It's the aligning the lifestyles together. It's what's the problem. That's what causes the love to have friction. Because we can't align. So that's what I mean. Sometimes love isn't the problem. Alignment is.
Well, lust. A lot of people confuse love and lust. They're very similar and they're four-letter words start with L. You know, but they're very different. They're different. Yeah, a lot of people get those two mixed up quite often.
So we'll talk about emotional labor and who pays the price. I know y'all probably like, why she ain't eating, y'all? I be getting full so fast, honestly. I get full so fast. Who usually carries the emotional weight in complicated relationships?
The person that initially, or the person that does not want the complicated relationship, in my opinion.
Who usually carries the emotional weight in the complicated relationships? I would say, you say the person who doesn't want the relationship?
No, the person that does not want the, like, so a good example, you got a man and a woman, of course, and so you have, okay, so like the woman wants the relationship like normal, but the man is the one that wants the open, you know, kind of the open relationship. So I feel like the woman is the one. So who carries the
emotional weight of it?
I would feel like the woman, you know.
Yeah, I would say the person. I thought you were saying the person that want to walk away.
No.
Yeah, I would say the person who wants the relationship to work.
Yeah,
it's
pretty much. Yeah, and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. It can actually go both ways.
Or it could be woman and woman, man and man.
Yeah,
all the other.
You know,
so, does confusion hit both people equally, or does one usually sit in uncertainty longer?
I would, a little bit of. I would say a little bit of both with that one because again, so.
I don't think it hits both.
No.
Because I feel like, for instance, like we just talked about the emotional weight, the confusion hits. Now, when it comes to the confusion part, I think it hits the person who's not really holding the weight of the relationship. It hits them more because they seem to be confused on why you're acting this way, or why are you saying the relationship is complicated, or you know. So I feel like the confusion, it hits the person who's not really fighting for the relationship more, because they really don't understand what's going on and why y'all having the problems.
You said for the person that's
who's not really fighting for the relationship, the one that's just like cool with how it is, like okay, whatever.
I disagree with
I
that.
feel like the confusion comes because they trying to figure out the one that's trying to make it work. Why you always coming at me with all this? Like why you always coming with me all these questions? Like what's wrong? What we doing wrong? Like what's the problem? Why is always a problem in our relationship?
And you said that's the
They
one
come
that,
confused. Yeah,
but
the
you
one
said that's
who's-
the one that wants the.
That's the one that's confused.
The
in
one
the
that wants
relationship.
the relationship to actually be traditional.
No. The one who okay. You have two in a relationship.
Okay.
If you just chilling and you feel like the relationship is going good, you're gonna be the one confused when your couple, when the person, your spouse is coming at you like, this ain't working. What we need to do to fix the relationship? So you're gonna be the one confused, like, why are you coming at me like that? Like, what's so wrong with the relationship? Like, cause you thinking everything good. So you're gonna be the one naturally confused at why y'all having problems because in your head everything's okay, but the person, your spouse, is wanting more, and you confused on what more, like what's happening, like what more do we need?
I mean, and you see how you say you ask like, what more do we need? Well, that's where the communication comes in. You know what I'm saying? Or even like, you know how SpongeBob do that communication, you know, whatever like that. That is key. Without no communication and actually talking about what's going on or whatever like that, man, that relationship is going to be very rocky, in my opinion. You know what I mean? You gotta, whether it's in a text, a call, face to face, FaceTime, whatever, Messenger, I don't know, whatever type of advertising, you know, like all of that. You know, communication is definitely key. Even if y'all don't see eye to eye on things, you know. It's just...
And also there's a difference between being patient and being paused. That's another thing. Y'all know that Fantasia song, "You Got Me Waiting, You Got Me Waiting," when I'm telling you everything you need to hear, but it ain't coming out. You got me, whatever. So that was somebody who was being patient, you know. So it's like that's why I say there's a difference between being patient and being paused. Because when a relationship is just in pause, it's static, like it's just stagnant, it's not moving nowhere. It's a difference. That's a pause. So we're gonna talk about boundaries in gray areas. This is very important. Can a complicated relationship survive without boundaries? Because it's already complicated.
Yeah, actually, it can actually because because it's still a relationship at the end. You know what I mean? Though it's a complicated one, it's still a relationship at the end of the day. So yeah, of course, you know, it can. It just depends on the severity of it.
I don't think so.
So you saying there should be like no boundaries in the complicated?
No, I'm saying it's a can a complicated relationship survive without boundaries? I don't think it can.
Oh, without them, yeah, no. You gotta at least have some, because if that's the case, then it wouldn't be the relationship. You know? So I agree with that.
So do you feel like clarity is more important than comfort?
I know I need to go with the dictionary, you know. Dictionary.
So is clarity more important than comfort? Like, I need you to clarify what's going on in this relationship. Like pretty much like how you like, hey, can you? I know how you feel, but can you say it?
Oh, like yeah.
Can you tell me again? Like stuff like that.
All right. And
so is clarity more important than comfort? Comfort meaning like you're just okay with what it is, with what the relationship is. So having clarity. Is that more important?
I wouldn't say like more important. I would say about equally important. The reason why is because of course you want to, you know, again you want communication. You want to know what's going on. But then as far as comfort too, who doesn't want to be comfortable in a relationship? You know what I'm saying? Like who doesn't want to get to that level of their relationship?
But sometimes comfort can be bad because you're just so comfortable in the toxic.
Exactly.
How you say it? Toxicity. What's that song?
Toxicity.
Yahweh. It's only one way, this God's way. What she say? I forget the little thing they keep laughing at her about.
But no, you bring up a good point though, and that's what I was trying to hit on too. Is you don't want to get too comfortable in a relationship where you literally get too comfortable. where it's like you stop getting the nails done, you stop getting the toes done, you stop, upkeeping yourself because now you finally got this dream man or this man or woman or whatever that you may want and want to be with. That you just feel like, oh, now now that I got them or them or whatever like that, I'll just it's just what it is now. I'll just be comfortable and I'll just just settle. In other words, no, you always want to be on your A game, no matter what.
Yeah, and when I look at comfortable, I look at the mental part of it. Like, you're just comfortable in going in circles over and over and over. Like, I feel like no one should be comfortable to have to just go through the same circles. It's pretty much going in circles. If you go into the airport and you go in circles in the airport, it's just gonna you just end up right back where you started from.
Yeah.
So I feel like clarity is more important than being comfortable.
Yeah, it's like the Mariah Carey song, that Circles, from that one album, Emancipation.
What do you think are necessary so no one feels misled?
Honesty, communication, and then like pretty much honesty and communication. You know what I'm saying? Like in a complicated relationship, it's somewhat of a free for all, but then at the same time, discuss with your partner. What may be going on and what will be going on, so that way they can kind of, have an idea or give a green light, whatever like that, or even the red light.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like honesty, that's the number one. Like, as long as you're honest with someone, they won't feel misled. They'll know what to expect. So I feel like that's all around. It all wraps back around to that. And boundaries aren't like ultimatums. They're self-respect. So it's not like, oh, you have to do this and do that, or it's just self-respect. This is how I want you to respect me. This is how you want me to respect you. Okay, so this next part of the segment, does complicated evolve or expire? So that's not a question, but that's what my segment name is called.
Okay. Could be made into a question, actually.
Yeah, it could. Do complicated relationships eventually become simple, or do they end? I think it depends on the people in it, but I honestly think they eventually end.
Ooh. I would say I would agree with that. Just to a certain degree, though, because then that dates back to what we were talking about earlier in the podcast. With love, you know what I mean? Like if
But they are like simple. I can't say it becomes simple too, because it's like you remember that word I was saying, comfortable. You get comfortable. So I feel like once you get comfortable in the complicated relationship, it gets simple because that's what you're used to at that point. So it's like both to me, honestly. It can be simple or it can end. It just depends on the people in it, honestly.
I agree, but to that I say also, again, dating back to what we were saying earlier in the podcast, with love, LOVE, that's real, true, unconditional love. It'll be there no matter what.
Okay, so at what point does choosing love require choosing yourself? So at one point, like, pretty much loving yourself, like, at what point does choosing love require choosing yourself? Like, okay, I matter. Like, this, I know my worth, stuff like, things like that.
Well, always. I say that always, but then I'm not really a big fan of, when somebody say, oh, I know my worth or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, what is your worth? If you're, again, like love, like let's just say, oh, your partner wants you to do a particular thing, and you're like, I don't know, I may be uncomfortable or whatever like that, but suppose you really love this person and you're willing to give it a try to make that individual happy, I feel like that. Oh, worth. I know my worth. No, I would say like that whole know your worth saying that should be more so
Doesn't mean
for a career or a job.
Not
like
losing your
say,
self-respect. Pretty much.
but define that though. You know what I mean? Because then it's like again, if you're doing something to please your partner, even if it's something that you're uncomfortable with, that doesn't mean you disrespect yourself. Though.
Well, that's why it was important when we talked about honesty and keeping things uncomplicated. The honesty, when a person already knows what to expect, that's what that comes back to. So it would never make it to a point where it's like, do I know my worth or am I disrespecting myself? If the whole thing is honest in the beginning, you know. So that's how it all ties back to each other. So that wouldn't be a conversation if that's already been determined. The honesty part.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. Oh man.
So
Podcast.
moment of silence. Moment of silence after that one. Y'all,
I was gonna
this ice
say
is so good right now. Y'all might not see me eat my
the
food,
only thing was
but
say,
y'all see me tearing up this ice
she-
and this drink. Hold on, what you gotta say?
She gave me some ground rules, and per request, I will respect the ground rules. People. Yeah, for those who don't, man.
How many me do?
Yeah, yo, trust me, I can say a lot of stuff to that, but
Yeah.
wow.
Anywho.
To be continued or to continue? That's I think to be continued.
So is honesty still healthy if it's repeatedly hurt someone? So is honesty still healthy if it repeatedly hurts someone?
Well, let me grab this. So it's honest. I mean, it wouldn't like. Say it again.
I'm sorry, y'all. He would actually gonna eat mine. Is honesty still healthy if it repeatedly hurts someone? So if it constantly hurts someone, is honesty still healthy?
No, it's not.
If you know it's gonna continue to hurt someone, at this point, let's change the narrative. Like, some people think because they're honest, oh, I'm just real. No. It's called having boundaries for each other. If you know something makes the person uncomfortable, why keep doing it? Like, let's find another way to work this out. Because your honesty may not be the honesty that they feel is honest, you know? So it's all about compromising and understanding each other at the end of the day. So I feel like that's like let's not be mean about it, you know? Ain't no reason why we should be trying to hurt each other's feelings. Can love survive without commitment? No. Can it survive if we're not committed?
Yeah, no, I don't really think so. Because then at that point, you know, where would the love be at if there's no commitment? You know, there's nothing to commit to. Then, you know, it's like, what is the purpose of the love or the relationship?
At that point, you're just going through the motions, honestly.
Wherever the way you go.
That's all you're doing, going through the motion. Is staying harder than leaving or just scarier? Hold on. How did I put that? Is staying harder than leaving or just scarier? I wouldn't say it's harder than leaving. I feel like leaving is harder than staying. But I do feel like staying is, all in all, it's all together. Like, it is scary. The thought of leaving is scary. And the thought of staying is also scary. So I feel like they're kind of like an equal yoke, honestly.
Yeah, that actually goes back to what you were saying earlier in the podcast, about like it being, like, you know what I'm saying, like kind of being comfortable. Like if you're, you know, if you're set, like if you're, is this something you're used to? Like how, what was it? You were saying comfort or
Being
clarity or
comfortable,
something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, yeah. So again, I would say it depends on the individual, you know. But then at the same time, with that being said, the grass isn't always green on the other side. You know, a lot of people might think, oh, you know, this guy is the worst person in the world, or this girl's the worst person in the world, and then they go to somebody else, 10 times worse. 10 times worse. It may be better. It is a gamble. You know what I mean? So, yeah, as they say, shoot your shot.
It's a word for that. It's a line. It's a line for that, but I can't think of what it's called. Dang.
Because then, too, when you do leave that individual, you got to wonder, and if it doesn't work out with the other individual, and you kind of want to go back, who's to say that individual, the other one that you left, will take you back. You got to think about that, because they might have, if that individual left that person for whatever reason, and then they mess around, and the other one that you had left, find somebody else that they actually happy with, now it's like pulling teeth to try to get that person back in your life.
Yeah, so I'm gonna ask this: when does patience turn into self-abandonment? When does patience turn into self-abandonment? So that means like when, just like I was saying earlier with that Fantasia song, you have me waiting, but I can't keep waiting on you. Acting like whatever. I'm gonna always be around. So it's like, that's like when people get comfortable. Like, for instance, I had a situation with my other baby daddy. I know I got 3, but yeah. One of my baby daddies. You got your pubic hair in there?
No. What?
Talking about your face hair, by the way. What you just did? You just farted.
Mommy,
What the fuck? You really just farted?
Mommy, do you mind?
Continue.
This is some shit that'll make a relationship complicated right here. That stank shit. You farted for real?
Do you want to try that?
I'm in the video right now. So just wait. You don't turn this focus. You farted. Please, I hope you don't explain nothing during this video. But when does patience turn into self-abandonment? He done made me lose all my train of thought what I was saying. Hey, go. Oh, yeah, so one of my baby daddies, or whatever, I had a situation with, you know, I tried to give him patience because we had another child, and me giving him patience ended up being self-abandonment because I went through hell. I had already went through hell the first time, but decided to allow the second time and went through more hell. So at that point, I feel like it was self-abandonment. Like, I knew better, but I didn't do better. And at that point, I lost myself. So that's what I say when I said, does patience turn into self-abandonment? It does.
Yeah, I don't really have much to say about that. It's unfortunate to hear when we got a couple and they didn't work out. It's always sad to hear. For me, it is, at least. It's always sad to hear a breakup. But as they say, when another, well, it's different. That trash is another trash. But hey, some in relationships, sometimes you just got other. Rest assured, in a relationship, you always got there's always somebody that got the eye on the prize, right? You know what I'm saying? There's always somebody that's waiting for that next person to fall off. It can be on both ends. It can be on the man's end and the woman's end.
Yeah, so all in all, because I had to check my notification about me saying do not disturb. But yes, all in all, it's a lot when it comes to these relationships. You know, you just have to pretty much just, what works for you, and your spouse, what doesn't. And everyone would, a lot of people won't understand y'all complicated relationship, honestly. And I don't know, I would say, you know, get the help y'all need. If you need outside counseling, if you need a neighbor, if you need a friend, a parent, you know, who, a therapist, whatever you may need to get through it, I honestly feel like, you know, do what works for y'all.
God and prayer works too.
Yeah, nah, that's the first one. Talking to God, that's the first one. Because, and you know, sometimes talking to God too, because let me tell you, I talked to God in my situation with my baby daddy, and the things I was scared of started happening. I was scared that it would be over forever, and that's what I prayed for. When I talked to God, I prayed that I got through what I was going through. And when you talk to God, you think his understanding is like, okay, she just wants things to get better. But sometimes when you talk to God, he always already knows what's best. He already knows what's best. So it's like, you think that because you talk to me, that I'm just gonna make it better. No, I'm gonna make it where you have no choice but to leave. Like, you have no choice but to get uncomfortable.
Removing yourself from the situation.
So being removed from the situation, that's one of the questions. Like, is it scary? It was scary, and I went through hell getting through it. And I'm thankful. When I look back on it now, I'm thankful that I made it through it, because it was a lot. It was a lot. So, you know, talking to God, you may not always be happy with the outcome, but listen, when you talk to him, just know it may not happen when you want it to. It's going to happen right when it's supposed to, and you better be ready. And if you're disobedient, you're going to have to fall on your face 10 times harder. That's what I'm telling you, it happened to me. So I'm not saying always stay in a complicated relationship because you feel like you're comfortable and it works. But I'm also saying do what works for y'all. And when it all boils over, you'll know if you're going to continue to have that complicated relationship or if you're going to leave it where it's at. Do you have anything to follow up to say?
No, for the most part, I mean, yeah, I agree with you on that. Yeah. You know, like I said, it always, you know, it always sucks to hear like a breakup and stuff like that. But yeah, you know, because the same thing was, it was, you know, with my son's mom. You know, with, you know, when me and her split, separated, whatever like that. We were still married. Yeah, you know, that wasn't her first child, but it was my first child. I don't know. To me, it hits a little different being a man. You know, when you kind of go through something like that. But you know, but it's an experience. Not to say, you know, go out and try to get into a bad relationship or anything like that. It's crazy talk. But you know, seeing yourself evolve from it and come, you know, surpass that and overcome said complicated relationship. You look back, you're like, wow, you know, I've been through it, but I've overcome it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave y'all with this. If nothing changed, would this still be enough? So it's up to you to decide. Listen to that. I'm gonna say it one more time. If nothing changed, would this still be enough? Just sit there, think about that, and that'll help you determine where you are in that relationship. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. It's been fun. It's been nice speaking with y'all, going through this topic. You know, if you have any questions, y'all already know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, comment below. Inbox me, y'all already know what to do. Again, This is your girl, The Real D Beats, and my special guest.
Jernya.
And this is the Fluff Around and Find Out podcast. And we're out. Bye.